So I've been super excited to release this video to you guys because I've managed to find 10 apps that you just need to download on your Android device. Apps that are so useful, interesting or fun that you won't know how you lived without them. So number 1 is Energy Bar, and whilst it might sound like something you have just before an intensive workout, it's extremely useful. So essentially it displays your battery information in a small bar on the top of your phone. It overlays across any app, so even if you're playing a game, you can constantly keep an eye on how much battery you have without leaving it. On top of that, there's a ton of customization. You can change the thickness, you can change which side it starts from, you can even change the colors it represents for each different battery percentage. Next up, we've got the Flexi keyboard, and between this and my Google one, it's fast becoming my number 1 used keyboard. First of all, it's great to type on. You can type really fast and it autocorrects at just the right amount. It doesn't overdo it, but it also doesn't underdo it. It recommends you GIFs and emojis after each word you type, and it's also extremely customizable. There's user-made skins, there's pre-made ones, and it looks pretty clean, I have to say. And they've even built in some pretty cool gestures, like being able to delete the last word just by swiping left. And then something else which you don't tend to see on a lot of keyboards is the ability to install plugins, things like shortcuts, hotkeys, and tons more. So just before we carry on, a quick science lesson. Your body is actually adapted to see different colors of light at different times of the day. So towards the evening times, your body expects a redder hue of light. And that's exactly what Twilight tries to create on your smartphone. So people who view a lot of bright screens towards the evening time, they actually tend to have trouble sleeping and it strains your eyes. So this removes the blue light and it also replaces it with a much more pleasing red hue. And that helps you sleep better towards the night. Now it does take away from the sort of contrast and visual appeal of the phone. It's not exactly the best way to show off your shiny new Super AMOLED screen, but at the same time it does do what it's meant to do, and it's got a ton of settings and tweaks to let it work for you. Next up, we've got Google Allo, and this is a brand new messaging app by Google, and it's just amazing. It's very similar to WhatsApp, it's totally free, but they've got some interesting new features. To start with, anytime during a message you can type @Google and it launches a Google Assistant, which is pretty smart actually. It can do things like tell you sports updates, you can arrange movie bookings and all that stuff. It's got all the standard things you'd expect with a messaging app, the ability to send GIFs and pictures, but it's also got whispering and shouting, so you can change the size of your text depending on what mood you're in. And you can also start incognito chats, kind of like Snapchat, where after a certain amount of time, the chats disappear. In terms of customizing your phone, personally I found there's no better app to use than Nova Launcher. It's fast, fluid, and accepts any icon pack and theme you can download. There is a free version, but considering that this is going to be like the main application that drives your whole mobile experience, I think it's pretty worth paying the $3.99 for the Pro version. It's just got lots of tweaks, lots of settings, and you can pretty much create any look you want to. So now that you've got your shiny new customizable launcher, what to install on it? And something I'd recommend you try out is Retrorica, which is one of the coolest icon packs I've ever tried. It goes for quite an antique, quite a desaturated look, but the quality of the icons is really high. It works on just about any launcher, so even if you don't go for Nova, it should still work for you. So I've been through a lot of different icon packs, and the reason this is one of my favorite is because every single icon, even ones that aren't officially supported, it brings them in line with the ones that are supported. So it sort of applies the same color filters to them, so they all look quite uniform. And it's also bundled in a pretty fitting pack of wallpapers. So next up is one that you guys have been asking me for ages to include, and this is Prisma. It's probably one of the coolest artistic / photo editing apps on the market. Now it doesn't have a detailed in-depth set of tools, it's not going to replace your Adobe Photoshop by any means, but you can basically crop and apply filters, basic stuff, but the filters that are on offer are really very good. It's got a very unique look to it, and the filters are just so drastically different that it's almost fun to just load up a random photo, play around with the different filters and see what output you can achieve. So next up is one that I've only just started using really a couple of days ago, but it's simple and it works well. So this is Material Notes, and I mean everyone needs a notes app. So you simply type in the notes, the kind of thing that you want to remember. It could be a checklist or just a reminder to do some exercise. You decide a color, and then every single note you can place as a separate widget, which you can then edit, add stuff to it, or mark as finished. So as you're probably aware, virtual reality is becoming an integral part of the smartphone experience, and Google has released an app called Cardboard Camera, which allows you to take virtual reality content of your own. So you simply just click take as if you were taking a photo and just kind of move around in a circle, and then you can view all of that on your Google Cardboard. There's also some sample images built in, but nothing too drastic. So next up is also a highly requested one. This is a Twitter client called Flamingo. So for those of you who don't know, a Twitter client basically replaces the original Twitter app in a much more customizable interface. So this does everything that Twitter does, but more. So for example, just scrolling through your news feeds, GIFs play automatically. External links to things like YouTube, things like different websites are presented in a much better way. And the customization is just vast. You can change the entire way this application looks. The colors, the themes, the layout, everything. It's just awesome. So there we go guys, those are 10 Android apps that you just need to download. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, I'd really appreciate it if you whack that subscribe button. I'm Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'm signing out.